All right, we have some breaking and developing news to touch on here on the Brandon Aiyuk front, right here on the San Francisco 49ers report. Ian Rapaport dropping a bombshell report just moments ago on X, and there could be a resolution to the Aiyuk situation today. If not today, it seems as though this could be solved very, very quickly. And there are a couple of avenues here. Aiyuk returning to the San Francisco 49ers, or Aiyuk getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we dive in, I have so many thoughts on this. If you want Niners news alerts, subscribe to us here on the San Francisco 49ers Report, the largest independently run Niners channel right here on YouTube. As you can see, we are approaching 136,000 subscribers. As for that report from Ian Rapaport of the NFL Network, update on Brandon Aiyuk, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 49ers have a deal on a potential trade, and Pittsburgh is in a good place on an Aiyuk contract, sources say. If San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's done, and Aiyuk is a Steeler. Also as part of that, San Francisco has an offer out to Aiyuk on a long-term deal for him to stay. He has not accepted. So there are a couple of ways in which this could go for San Francisco. Number one, the Niners could trade Aiyuk to the Steelers, and it would long end a big controversy this offseason that has been a long and windy road and a roller coaster. And it would end a marriage between the Niners and Aiyuk that has resulted in a lot of great football, a lot of explosive plays, seeing Aiyuk become an all-pro player, him being a focal point of this offense, and him getting dealt to a Pittsburgh team that has been long mentioned as the number one Aiyuk destination and the one team that he wants to go to. Pittsburgh is willing to pay him. If the Niners sign off, it's a done deal, and Aiyuk is going to be a Steeler. And then there's another avenue here. Aiyuk could elect to probably take less money from the Niners, stay with the only organization that he has known since being the 25th overall pick at Arizona State in 2020, and he could sign a new contract extension with the Niners, run it back with San Francisco, continue to catch passes from Brock Purdy, run routes for Kyle Shanahan, win big for an iconic brand, put up some really good production, still make some really good money, but probably not as much money as he would with Pittsburgh. NFL insider for The Athletic, Diana Russini, also reporting today, there could be a third team involved in order for this deal to get done. Therefore, San Francisco would involve that third team to either get some assets back that they really like, or get some assets back that they could facilitate in a trade to land another player, maybe another wide receiver. Russini also sent out a follow-up to what Rapoport had to say and said the Steelers have been waiting to hear from San Francisco over the last couple of days, and they are in wait-and-see mode. A big question amidst all of this, what will the value be? What can the Niners get back for Aiyuk if they do deal him away to Western Pennsylvania? And what's funny is that the Niners have 5 Super Bowls. You can't write the history of the NFL without including San Francisco. They're trying to catch the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have 6 Lombardi trophies, and you can't write the history of the NFL without Pittsburgh. And as the NFL really started to take off in a couple of different eras, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was Pittsburgh and then San Francisco, who really became iconic brands in the NFL and went on these dynastic runs that have led to both of these organizations having fan bases that span worldwide and being incredible organizations. Now, Matt Mayoko, NBC Sports Bay Area, reporting that the Steelers would give up compensation and pay Aiyuk, but we're not sure what that compensation would be. Clearly, there's been a little bit of a change in the Steelers' offer. There has been a couple of different offers on the table for San Francisco. They haven't accepted those offers. You might ask why. The Niners are probably trying to figure out, Do we up our offer to Aiyuk? Can we land another wide receiver? Can we increase our asking price for Pittsburgh? And probably Pittsburgh has upped their offer a little bit as far as draft compensation and or player compensation. And they have met the Niners trade demands for a deal to be on the table. And if the Niners sign off, it's a done deal, according to Ian Rapaport. As part of this, you have to think, do the Niners want this news out there? Brandon Aiyuk even said last week after that report that the Niners were re-engaging in contract conversations, that the Niners are in the media every day because they want to control the narrative and they want to maintain any type of leverage that they have. A lot more to get to here on the show. First, let's pop up today's poll question. Will Brandon Aiyuk stay with the Niners or will he go to Pittsburgh? Type SF for San Francisco, PIT for the Steelers. Want to welcome back Prize Picks as a presenting sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers Report. Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and then you watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks, and you can turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has you covered every single week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. Our football selections: Calvin Ridley, more than 899.5 receiving yards. T. Higgins, more than 899.5 receiving yards. And then Cooper Kupp, if he stays healthy, I think this is a shoo-in for the Los Angeles Rams. More than 974.5 receiving yards. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks. A lot of thoughts given the recent reporting from Ian Rapaport that either Aiyuk is going to get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers or he takes less on a contract extension to stay with San Francisco. Judging the Aiyuk trade is going to come down to what the Niners can get back in return if he is dealt. And the price tag will change our opinions on this entire situation. What if the Niners get a first-round pick back? What if they get a first and a second? I'd say that's a pretty good haul in exchange for Brandon Aiyuk, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are also going to have to give him a lofty contract extension. And I reported last week they're willing to go up to $31+ million average annual value on an Aiyuk deal. But Brandon Aiyuk, under the Niners' watch, has turned into an all-pro wide receiver. He has been a great weapon for your franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy. And the Niners' offense is so much better with a player like Aiyuk, who has every single route to his route tree, has tremendous footwork, is a deep threat, a threat over the middle, and is an explosive player who was incredible last year and has emerged as a top 10 wide receiver in the game. And that's what you envisioned when you took him with the 25th overall pick back in 2020. And I know that some people will say, well, Chase, back in 2019, this is a Niners team that got the #1 seed in the NFC, home field advantage through Levi's Stadium. Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback, and it featured Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, a rookie in Deebo Samuel, the trade acquisition in Emmanuel Sanders, Kendrick Bourne. Well, they didn't win then, and they didn't win last year. But this past year, we saw a different dimension to this Niners offense. We saw what San Francisco is capable of when they have an elite wide receiver who can beat press man, beat zone, take the top off of the defense. And we saw in the Super Bowl how Deebo Samuel is a little bit limited with his route running and how he can get jammed at the line of scrimmage. That was the playbook for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they stalled this Niners offense to a certain degree, and I don't think the Niners targeted Aiyuk enough. I thought Deebo Samuel was too much a part of that game plan over Brandon Aiyuk. Trading Aiyuk away would be a massive gamble and a huge risk. Can Ricky Pearsall step in as a rookie? Great route running, footwork. He can go up and get it, but he struggles to separate, and he's a smaller player. I think he's more of an inside guy as compared to an outside guy, and he's dealt with numerous injuries already to start training camp. Jauan Jennings will have to step into a bigger role, barring the Niners not getting a wide receiver back. He's never been able to do that in his NFL career because he's never been asked. Is he capable? For sure, but it's a lot to ask. Deebo Samuel has been in tremendous shape during Niners training camp. Credit to him. He's barely missed any practices. He's slimmed down, and he has played with reckless abandon, plays the game in a very entertaining way, but he's been injured a lot throughout his NFL career, and he has limitations as a true wide receiver. Brandon Aiyuk, unquestionably, is a better wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. Gets up and down the field better vertically. Can take the top off of the defense better than Deebo. Is just a better route runner and overall true wide receiver as compared to Deebo. And what if Deebo Samuel were to get hurt? Then the Niners are in a precarious spot at the wide receiver spot. And I know that in addition to Deebo Samuel having a good camp, Jauan Jennings having a great camp, Chris Conley has performed very, very well. You brought in Robbie Chosen-Anderson. But come on now. Those players can't make up for the production of Brandon Aiyuk. You don't let special walk out the door. And it'll be a damn shame if the difference in Aiyuk staying and going is a couple of $1 million per year. The vertical element to your pass game might evaporate. And then that affects the play of Brock Purdy and in turn affects the dangerous magnitude of your offense. San Francisco could have gone from having all 11 starters back from the team that was the number 1 overall offense in the NFL to losing a special premier player at the wide receiver spot. We'll see what happens. It looks as though we could have a resolution very, very quickly. And whatever happens, we have you covered right here on this show. That's why you hit that subscribe button here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. I've said all offseason, I think Aiyuk comes back, $28 million per year. I'm not so sure now, and that's unfortunate. We'll catch you next time here on the show. Thanks for tuning in. And again, be sure to subscribe for Niners updates.